Fill a glass, okay? I just want to propose a toast because the present state of my mental state is something like a meditation. Age rings got me elevating. My preparation is unmatched. My presentation run facts. So tonight we on a celebration. Currently we make currency in every last denomination. Dollars up for the Raj Nation. We get going in cash, Bitcoin, and the paper. Shit, creating like we a caver. We ballin' out, so bring friends. It ain't gotta be you and me. I mean, we dropped $1,000 on the show.
Hello, valuepreneurs and sales shakers. That's right. Brace yourselves for another episode of Sales TV Live. Coming to you today from Portugal. We've got Adam as well in London, and we've got Rajiv, the RajNATION Nathan in Chicago. Let me just say, first of all, thank you for joining us and trusting us to get a nice dose of sales vitamin to your system. I'm your host, Helga Saraiva-Stewart. You know me, founder of Lead Results. Let's get straight into meeting our guest today, Rajiv. Do you want to just give us a few words, who you are, what you do?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Helga, and excited to be here on Sales TV. My name is Rajiv Nathan, aka RajNATION. I am the founder and chief pitch artist of Startup Hype Man. If you've not heard of us before, the way I like to frame it is, if you remember that scene from the movie Rush Hour with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, where he goes, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" That's kind of what it's like leading a company, whether it's being the executive who needs to pitch to a board or to investors, or whether you're a salesperson or running a sales team trying to convince customers. And when you have it figured out in your head but can't articulate it the right way, how do they react? They go, huh? What does it do again? Or even worse, they go, oh, I get it. It's another insert generic comparison product here. And you definitely don't want to be another of anyone else. So my job and my team's job at Startup Hype Man is help you not just go to market, but become the GOAT to market. And we do that specifically through helping you develop the right pitch message story that's going to stand out and get your audience to recognize you not as the best, but as the only. And that's key, because if you can accomplish that, the people who were before going, huh, what does it do again? And saying, wait, I don't get it. Now they're saying, wait, tell me more, and writing checks.
And you know what I'm going to say, Adam, at this point? I love it. So let me just warn everybody watching. Rajiv is the most original cat that I know on planet Earth today in sales. All right, that's just period. And that's saying a lot, right? So let me just kick off the conversation. First of all, help us to understand, just from your perspective, how is it that people can stand out when doing outreach and introducing themselves? I mean, how is AI, artificial intelligence, helping us with that now? Just take us through some of your thoughts there.
I'm not entirely convinced AI is helping us that much, at least yet. So I have a label or a subfolder in my inbox, and it's titled Bad Prospecting Emails. More emails go into that folder than go into the one labeled Good Prospecting Emails. And I think AI has actually only multiplied so far, right? So far, AI has multiplied the amount that can get into the bad folder, because the number, like the capacity at which you can send emails is greater now. And one of the biggest challenges is, I think people don't understand that if you're going to use AI, you have to use it as a starting point, and then still have some human involvement to adjust whatever AI came up with at base. But like, I've got emails right now, and very recently it was like, hey Rajiv, saw that Startup Hype Man specializes in messaging development. Like, they basically took a line off of my website, which is it AI or not, I don't know. And then whatever they said after that had no tie to them talking about my company. So it was like, saw you help SaaS companies do this. We're a lead generation agency that can get you 9 appointments in the next 4 days. Like, right? The value is not tied to whatever the AI is personalizing whatsoever. And that's the biggest challenge that I think sellers today and sales teams need to overcome is AI is making it easier to be bad. Everyone thinks about AI in terms of, oh, it's going to make it easier to be good. But if it's very easy to misuse, therefore it's a lot easier to be bad. And the tolerance for screwing up when you know it was done by a computer is much lower than if it's natural human error. So the expectation bar on the buyer side is higher, and the ability to screw it up is even higher as well.
Rajiv, I just have to let you know, we've already gobsmacked quite a few people that weren't expecting the start of the show to be like this. I'm looking at I'm looking at the chat, and you've set it on fire. So I'm glad we're surprising you. I'm letting you know, by the way, viewers, audience, fellow sales shakers and valuepreneurs out there, I have got a surprise for all of you today. Not even Rajiv knows what's going to happen, but let me just tell you, we are going to play a game called PowerPoint Karaoke. All right. Oh,
Okay.
yes, yeah. Now, I wouldn't be able to do this with anybody else but Rajiv, but someone in our audience is already saying, Adam, we're waiting for your song.
Yeah, well, I can't really follow that. I must say though that I thought your observation of AI is absolutely on the nose, because the challenge is that people are seeking this as a solution for them having to do any work, and the issue is that sales has always been and will always be about interaction between us. I build trust, the seller, build trust with you, the buyer, and between us, we kind of form some sort of relationship on which I'm prepared to believe, or you're prepared to believe what I say when I'm trying to sell something to you. And the concept of outsourcing that to a machine, I saw a beautiful quote where somebody had written, "Why would I be bothered to read something you couldn't be bothered to write?" And I thought that just summed it up so perfectly. And everyone's looking for a shortcut, aren't they?
Yeah, but the whole point, I think, with AI is how good it's going to become in fooling us into believing that we are talking to a real human being. I suppose if you can if you can become better at mapping these things, then it can become better at fooling us. But so let me just throw another question back at Rajiv. In terms of what should we be actually trying to do with AI then? I mean, what do you recommend that we use AI for?
Well, I don't want to misrepresent. I'm not an AI expert. All I know is what gets pushed to me and what I see out there, and just a little bit of toying around I've done on my own. But like AI, I think right now is best leveraged to scale up the research you can do on accounts. I don't think it is in the right place to do the writing for you. Because again, it's very easy to see through an AI message, and you're going to just tick off the buyer a little bit more if it's something that it looks like you took the time to write it, but it's obvious you didn't actually do it. So AI, I think where you really should leverage it is to increase the rate at which you can do research on accounts. There's several different software for this. And then also let it be the thing that if you are not a great writer at baseline, that's a skill you want to work on. I think that's probably one of the most important skills, period, in business. But see what it generates for you at baseline. And then it's not, this next part's important. Just because it generated something for you at baseline does not mean you are required to then augment that message to make it better. If it's not good, trash it and start from scratch, right? Don't even use the AI message. Write your own or find a different prompt and get something different. What happens is we get the thing spit out and then we start adjusting what originally was not good. I think the best analogy I could use is you buy a house that was built poorly, and then you're like, well, let me just throw this spackle on the wall because there's a hole in the drywall, and that's my permanent solution. And then you just keep adding this, like, let me duct tape this here. Let me move furniture over this hole in the ground over here, right? Inevitably, someone's going to sit on that couch and fall through the hole in the ground. So if the first thing you get is bad, you are not required. And I, for some reason, people think they have to use what was given to them through the generative AI and then adjust from there. You're not required to use it. If you don't like it, and you can literally read it out loud and be like, would I say this to anyone? Start over, write it from scratch. Don't build on top of a bad foundation.
I tell you what I do like, and I keep stealing this line, your line, many a times in different situations, which is, don't be the best, be the only. So, help us to understand, how do you become the only? A lot of people say you need to become good at telling stories, but where does one start? And obviously, I know between you and me that you have a formula as well. Lead us up to that.
Yeah. So this concept of being the only, not the best, I think there's far too many companies that are in a game of parity, 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 not parody, because they're positioning their software as essentially very similar to another provider that's out there that does almost the same thing. They talk about their software through the lens of how they're better than the competition. So they're in a race to be the best of the current product set. And I think that's a road to ultimately just being feature compared against the competition. And I'm not saying that a smart buyer won't also talk to 2 or 3 other providers, but the idea is, if you are simply trying to position yourself as better than the rest or the best of the set, they are going to look at you and assess you the same way they look at and assess the others in the market. What you want to do is be the only, establish yourself as the only, because now, instead of getting feature shopped so heavily, you're going to actually shape the entire market and shape the perception of the other providers in the market. This is the path to kind of breaking through in the category, potentially creating a new category. If you can establish yourself as the only, now you're giving the buyers, your market, your industry, a lens on which to assess others that may have similar products to yours. But again, I'm not saying you might not have, I don't know, for example, SalesLoft and Outreach, right? They can compete against each other. But if you can be the one who provides the lens to your buyer at which they should be looking through your company versus other companies, now you can take a nearly identical feature set and flip it on its head, or not flip it on its head. You can take a nearly identical feature set and have them kind of understand them from 2 different standpoints. You want to be able to essentially provide the glasses, the spectacles, the looking glass at which they should be understanding you, and that should be different than how they understand others. A great starting point for that, to the point that you alluded to, Helga, is this, and this gets you started with storytelling as well, is what I call the Que Pasa elevator pitch formula. So I'll come to the formula and explain that a little bit more in just a second, but I want to set this up the right way. There are a lot of institutions, a lot of agencies, a lot of consultants who tout the importance of storytelling. And they say, tell stories, tell stories, tell stories. But then it's like, okay, well, how do I do that? And the response is like, well, just tell stories, tell stories, tell stories. And then you can go to a marketing department to get the storytelling told from them. But in a sales setting, the marketing story is not going to work so well, because marketing probably thought about it through the lens of, how do I broadcast this message to thousands of people all at once? And that ultimately waters down whatever you're trying to say. And in addition, gives you language that you probably would not really use in real life. I'm all about, how do you communicate at all levels of business? How do you communicate with someone as if you are talking to them? and as if you are trying to build a relationship with them. And just a quick sidebar, that literally goes down to when my company invoices customers, we literally, the language on the invoice, like when you get the bill sent to you, the little preview message doesn't say, please pay this. It says, yo, 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 it's time to collect our dough. So, and then it's like 2 more rhymes off of that. And that kind of makes it fun for someone to pay an invoice, which is something no one really likes doing, but it makes it fun to pay an invoice. And I thought through, how do we make this feel more real and authentic and build a communication and connection point, even off of just an invoice? So that was a quick sidebar. So we come back to a sales scenario, and marketers pay attention to this too, because you should be thinking through this lens. You should be thinking through a sales lens first, not a marketing lens. Your marketing will be more effective if you think about it through how it should be sold, not how it should be marketed. The biggest struggle that I think every team faces is how to talk about what the company does. You take a sales team, let's say you've got 10 sellers on your team, line them up, put them in a different room, ask each one, what do we do? What's our elevator pitch? I promise you, most companies, you will get 9 to 10 different responses. And it's not that there are 9 to 10 different responses because someone's got a different personality. It's that like they're literally like, you'd think you just met 9 or 10 different companies. And the other thing I've seen too is the play where it's like, oh, well, we don't talk about what we do until the buyer tells us about them. That way we can tailor what we, are offering to them. And like, I get that, but who are you to believe that you have the ultimate right to make the buyer speak first? Especially like if you prospected them and booked the meeting and you're starting with like, well, tell me about you. They're like, well, you booked the meeting. You tell me, like, why would you do that to your buyer right out of the gate? You will build a healthier relationship. You will open up discovery. That intro call will be so much stronger if you can just effectively articulate your company in a minute or less and not make them have to go first. So the Que Pasa elevator pitch formula, which for anyone who knows Spanish would know that Que Pasa in Spanish means what's up or what's happening. That is what you're telling the other person. You're telling them what's up with them and what's happening with you. Que pasa, P-A-S-A. And that stands for problem, approach, solution, action. Problem, approach, solution, action. At the start of this show, Helga, you asked me to explain to people what is Startup Hype Man. I literally gave you the Startup Hype Man Que Pasa. I talked about the Chris Tucker rush hour thing and the challenges that would pose in real life business setting. And then I explained what we do after that. Most people are going to come on to an interview, wherever it is, and they'll say, yeah, so we're an AI powered platform that does X, Y, and Z. And what you've unfortunately done is you haven't oriented the audience the right way. You haven't given them a reason to receive your solution. When you use Que Pasa, whether it's in an interview, whether it is on a sales call, whether it's in these other formats, you are effectively providing context and frame of reference first for why you should exist. Most importantly, though, you are leading with empathy. And that is such a big key to this. You lead with empathy and you walk with them hand in hand to your solution versus starting on, think of it like a tug of war, starting on your side, they're over here, and you're like yanking them over to you by just starting with, well, our product is this and it does this, this, and this, right? You want to start where they are and walk hand in hand over to your side, and they will receive that far better. The reactions you will get will be like, that's really helpful that you said that. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize you did that. Oh, actually, what you were saying was just what we were talking about the other day. Right? It will open up such a healthier and more productive discovery because they will feel seen. And that's what you want to do with that elevator pitch, and really all of your storytelling is make the audience feel seen. So, Que Pasa, problem, approach, solution, action. That is how you tell a story in a minute or less.
Oh my gosh. I tell you what, you know what I'm going to ask next, because I love role plays, right? I love when our guests, walk the walk, talk the talk, and I know you can do that. So take us through what a discovery call would sound like with this Que Pasa formula approach.
Yeah. So here's let's say, a typical discovery call. Maybe you're going to try and set an agenda. So you're on that discovery and you're like, hey, I'm really excited to talk to you today. I think the best way this call can work, I definitely want to learn about, everything about what you have going on your side and tell you about what we do. Why don't I first just give you a quick upfront so you understand us? And I think that'll be a nice dovetail into learning about you. And then once I've asked, once we've had a decent conversation, I can further expand on that intro I gave to help see if what we have is a fit for you. So think about that's how you're going to set this up. And then they're like, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. I just want to make sure we cover this. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's do that. Okay. So why don't I just give you a quick overview of what we do? And then that's where you give your Que Pasa, which, in my case, it's what I said earlier, right? It's that rush hour thing. Another example I can give you off the top of my head would be there's a company we worked with a few years back in the e-commerce space called SearchSpring. Let me see if I can pull this one out of the hat because we did it a few years ago. I'm seeing if I remember it. It was something to the effect of like, yeah, so the reality is online shoppers hate it when they hit a site and can't find what they want. And when that happens, they won't stick around. It's not like that they won't purchase, but they won't stick around and they'll go to a competitor site to buy the thing that they want. Now, this happens to them when on your side on the back end, you get boxed in by a platform like you insert whatever platform that they're likely on. You get boxed in by let's say Magento or a WooCommerce that gives you the baseline, but then just has plugins to try and create these personalized solutions for the shoppers. And if that's how you're feeling on the back end, frustrated by the limitations, the shoppers are even more frustrated on the front end. SearchSpring gives you total control over your site so that your shoppers actually enjoy being there. Our solution set includes, I'm trying to remember now. Our solution set includes personalization tools, merchandising, and category management so that you can show the right product to the right shopper at the right time.
Nice. And to anybody listening, the focus, even when you're talking about you're talking about the problem of your client, which is the
exactly
beauty, which is the whole point, right? So we're talking about you, not really. I'm talking about what you relate the most with, which is my understanding of your problems, which also at the same time builds credibility for you because. Right, automatically. So, are you ready? We are at the 23-minute mark. We are ready to play karaoke. We are ready to play PowerPoint karaoke.
Okay, bring it on.
Here we go. Okay, so here's what the challenge will be. I am going to show you 3 PowerPoint slides. And you need to imagine that you are at a discovery call with a prospect, high-value prospect. Adam, you ready? High-value prospect. And literally your marketing team has built these screens for you, and you now have to narrate these screens. You have 60 seconds per screen. Brace yourself.
Wow.
Here we go. By the way, audience, friends and colleagues, Rajiv has not seen these screens before, okay? Here we go. First screen, 60 seconds, starting now.
The amazing avocado. What? The amazing avocado launcher 3000. Who doesn't need to launch avocados? Okay. Perfect when slicing and dicing. Just no. Okay. All right. So I got to Que Pasa pitch this now. That's the idea.
Go
all
for
right.
it.
Okay. Helga, your party just started. Your guests have arrived. They're hamming it up with each other, grabbing drinks out of the cooler. And you're saying, yeah, start with the appetizers. They're over there on the table down the hall. They start picking up the salad plates. And it's in that moment that you notice, oh no, I forgot the avocados. And the whole taste profile of that salad rests on those avocados. What can you do? Your guests are already there. You can't just sit at a cutting board, slicing and dicing away for the next 10 minutes. They'll already eaten the salad by then. You can't be caught between, when you need avocado, you can't find yourself in a pit. The amazing, let me think here. What's the approach of this one?
That is it. That is it. 60 seconds up.
All right.
Next one. I love the pit, by the way. Next one. Go.
The desk nap capsule for when coffee just won't cut it. Boost productivity with micro naps. Includes white noise machine, mini bar, adjustable snooze settings. Okay. It's 2 p.m. The afternoon lull has hit. You just came off one meeting that ended at 1:59, and your next meeting starts at 2:30. The nearest cafe is a 20-minute walk. And if you try and drive, you're going to get into your car and spend 15 minutes just finding parking. Coffee's not available. What do? Don't go for the beverage. No, wait. Don't go caffeine. Go capsule with the desk nap capsule. Get your afternoon recharge by taking a nap underneath your desk with all the with a white noise machine, a mini bar if you do need a coffee for when you wake up, a pillow, and adjustable snooze settings. So when 2:29 hits, you're back up in your chair and ready to go.
Last one.
Nelson, oh wow. Nelson Mandela, just straight up Nelson Mandela. Okay. There's a lot of different directions I could take this. Apartheid is wrong. It's ripping apart families, dividing society, and holding back South Africa's presence on the world stage. The more we rely on apartheid, the more we stay apart from being an economic superpower amidst Africa as a continent and the world at large.
We love it.
We need a leader.
I love it.
We need Madiba, Nelson Mandela.
So did you not notice the Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even. That's how much I associate the two.
There you go, folks. And this is how we catch Rajiv. Morgan Freeman, thank you so much for your collaboration here. Adam, thank you so much for being here to support me in case the internet goes down or anything falls apart. You're a rock. Rajiv, you are amazing. Everybody, please go check out Rajiv's album. It's in all like Spotify, Apple, and so on and so forth. It's really great music. So original. Check out his stuff. We have been Sales TV for you live. Come join us again on the next episode. Thank you so much. Big kisses to you all. Bye for now.
Bye.